Well, all right. And welcome back to Planet Gen X, guys. I'm Sean, and back again with us is my good buddy, Joel. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Oh, man, it is fantastic. And I am so happy we got together this week, man. We missed out last week. Had a lot going on. It's been real busy, but it's okay. I mean, every now and then we have to take time off. We got real lives,
Right.
So,
Thanks for having me back.
Oh, man, always. It's a pleasure to have you. So I know one of the things, we didn't get to talk that much this week, but earlier in the week,
right,
I had mentioned to you, hey, man, Indiana Jones game's out, so I'm going to disappear with that for a while. And, well, that hasn't happened yet, unfortunately. But
right.
I know, obviously you haven't gotten to play it. You've been deep in the,
Path of Exile.
Yeah.
2.
Path of Exile 2.
Yeah.
And, but you did side watch a whole thing about it. And
I watched the thing on YouTube where somebody cuts together all the cutscenes. It was like 5 hours or 6 hours. I don't know how long it was. It was a long time, but I was grinding in Path of Exile 2. So I had like another window up on the screen, and I'm watching it because I was figuring you're going to do the Game Pass again for
I thought about it. Yeah.
What's it called? What was that game you played on Game Pass?
Well, I did Star Wars Outlaws on the Ubisoft version of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the cheap way to get into, and I say the cheap way because it's honest to God, it is a on-rail game, basically, that is like maybe you want to call it an interactive movie.
Right.
But the only thing I saw through the whole playthrough was like fisticuff type stuff, which is basically Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Right.
And I can tell you, some good and some bad.
Revolver, and I know he has his whip, but apparently the revolver, you don't use it too much.
No, it's too. I'll give you my theory on that one. But I did watch every scene all the way through out, and it was somewhat enjoyable, and I'll
well, that's what I heard. And let me back it up a bit before you do go there, because that's how we kind of started. I said, hey, man, I think you kind of said, I don't know about that one. And I said, well, I've heard nothing but good things about it. But, it could have been that I fell on all the shill sites. I don't know. But, and I'm still after the fact and now still seeing stuff where people are saying, the game's not doing well, but it's kind of an all right game. It's not a bad game and it's not a great game.
Right.
But it's an okay game and it's not full of bugs. And, so, having said that, now you can go.
Okay. Even the playthrough I saw had a couple of bugs in it, but that's okay.
Well, they all will.
Yeah. At this point, I just can't put it back. Let's bring up the trailer first so that we can at least get through that bit, and then that gives everybody something to look at. Let's see if I can get it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what you are missing, Dr. Jones. While you were playing your pointless game, I was playing you.
The voice actor for the Nazi here, amazing.
Yeah,
Maybe
very good.
Throughout the game.
Built yourself.
This was the original trailer back in the day.
Instead of ending up here, dead and forgotten in the sense of Africa.
It looks very close to him, but not perfect.
Yeah, it's got some uncanny valley. It's a little bit there.
Definitely. Is that Ron Howard's kid?
History.
I don't know. We can look it up.
Yes,
There's different ways to interpret the past. Thousands of years of humanity's thoughts and beliefs, scattered and buried. Just waiting.
I mean, it looks fantastic.
To be found.
You can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
Yeah, I mean, it really does look good, man.
Why don't
The forced ray tracing is a problem, though.
Yeah. By the way, Todd Howard is the head of Bethesda. Just so you know.
Oh yeah, I knew that. God,
I did too. I know. I was thinking, who's developing is Todd Howard? And I was like, Todd Howard, I think, is the head of Bethesda.
I've been that way all day, dude.
That's all right.
I've had run-ins with these guys before. Trust me, it ain't a walk in the park.
Okay, then. Let's see if you can keep up.
I wonder who's voicing Indy.
Now that I don't know either.
You know, as happy as Harrison Ford is to do stuff nowadays, you'd think they could have gotten him to do it. Probably didn't want to pay him that much. Though.
I got a theory about that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
Patron of the fallen angels. Protector of the Chukulimani.
No, that looks pretty good, except for the smile. The mouth is wrong.
Yeah.
You have any idea how old that was?
Right.
And see, that's where they're messing up, dude. I think this Game Pass stuff, the Ubisoft Game Pass type stuff, you know, you're killing your own sales, or I don't know how to put it. I don't know, man. I mean, it seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing that day one.
Right. Which is exactly why I recommended it to you right away. I mean,
yeah,
it's I don't know. Similar to the God of War game you played, and similar to Star Wars Outlaws, and similar to, it's a certain genre of gaming that it falls into. For me, I say it's on rails, and you don't get it's not open world. That's what they may claim it is, but
the Jedi
you have
stuff,
to go.
Those two Jedi games recently, I know exactly what you mean by on a rail. You don't get to go where you want to go.
No, you don't. So I mean, if you want to forward the story, you have to go this direction, and you have to pick up this item. And it's not a side quest per se; it's a main quest, and you have to do this to continue the movie that you're watching and the animation
playable movie.
Yeah. So interactive movie is where it falls for me. And the problem with those kinds of games for me is it's my brain, goes to, it's kind of hands off, and there's a lot of hands on in this game that they've tried to add to it to get you to that next scene. So it's not that it's bad. And the script that I would say that for the game was okay. It has that bitter, and I hate to say it has that bitter undertone, and I'm not reaching. I wish I was reaching. I wish I was, looking into it. And I wish I was just saying, I kept saying to myself, do I tell you this? Is it worth telling you this? Oh yeah. Does it have DEI, ESG influence? Yes, it does. Why does it have it there? It's in the 30s. This takes place in like the mid 30s. It has an open lesbian relationship that's immediately talked about in the game at about an hour and a half in, and it's not that it's a big point of contention. It doesn't have much to do with the storyline, if anything at all.
It wouldn't have happened in the 30s, not openly.
It's openly gay in the 30s would have been a speakeasy type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It wouldn't have been a woman, and I'll explain to you the scene. It's like a woman walks up to Indy, and she's introduced to him, and she immediately introduces herself as basically like the lesbian lover of the woman that they're looking for. Yeah, and I was like, well, why would you say that openly? And so it's kind of a immersion breaker for an older gamer or a Gen Xer, and this is where Lucasfilm is failing. Is these little hints, little notions, little things that are, and I've told you before, it's like subliminal. They did a lot of negative subliminal things for the bulk of society and Acolyte. And I hate bringing it back up, but that was such a treasure of negative. But there was so many things wrong with it.
And I'm sure there's Disney influences, even though this, it's a Disney IP, but it's not directly to Disney, but I'm sure they still influence. Well, if you're going to, use our Indiana Jones IP, then you definitely have to gay it up.
Right. And then the other bit is, and I've heard this theory before from other people, and I'm starting to agree with it because I'm seeing it too much. But from, I think her name was Jen Erso in Rogue One, and then we get Daisy Ridley's Rey, and then we get just now. Look, this just keeps happening over and over. Even if we're watching Mandalorian. And people say, well, Mandalorian doesn't have that. And I'm like, Mandalorian has its own thing going. He's kind of at this point, he's kind of the motherly figure of Grogu at this point, So he loses the male characteristics and picks up the female feminine, perspective,
I'm with you.
And they force us to see that he's not the manly man type thing. And then when we had our first introduction to Boba Fett, we got the manly man Boba Fett, and it was awesome. And then when he came back for his TV show, after he did his bit in Mandalorian, it was great, but his TV show went down the drain because they had to add the feminist point of view, the they inserted the female
Grogu back.
Yeah, I mean,
which was not going to happen initially.
Right. So here's my theory. I think that Kathleen Kennedy is approving scripts that reflect her. Where you, if you have a feminist propaganda bit going in your TV show, your movie, your video game, I'm all in. I want to talk about it. And in the last Indiana Jones movie, we had that. We had like a replication of Kathleen Kennedy in off playing Indy. It was as talented as Indy, strong as Indy, blah blah blah. Kind of Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I think was her name.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the last. That's the time machine.
I haven't seen it, and that's why I do. Yeah. I mean, it's basically a female Indiana Jones, and I'm not going to watch that. I'm sorry.
Well, I think they wanted her to take over or something.
Yes, right. Like, they were gonna Batgirl her.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we got our character in here, and she starts out as a nun, and she starts out as see, by the way, when I saw this, executive producer Todd Howard doesn't, wait a minute, executive producer, that's right. a little different. But this is her, and this is our character. It starts out as a nun, and she's and I'm going to spoil here. I'm going to spoil a little bit here, guys, and I'm sorry if anybody's listening. She has a sister who is the lesbian in the story that she's searching for, and she's gone to the Vatican to attempt to find out clues based on it, under the premise that she is a journalist, right? But as we go along through the story, this is the Kathleen Kennedy and insert to me, and is a part of the underlying tone feminist propaganda through the entire movie, not movie, but game. Yeah. And I think people are not going to complain about it because you can barely see it, but she has like, there are lines that immediately trigger it for me. It's some line like, I remember saying, I don't know, 3 hours into the thing, I think I saw her say a line, or heard her say a line that was like, maybe I should have been an archaeologist, because she figured something out. And I was like, oh man. And then I think Indy responded with, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
he said something like that. And I was like, okay, well, this is all right. So just look, there's feminist undertones. Yes. Are they prominent? No, it's kind of underlying. It's like I said, do I mention it? I couldn't mention it without setting up why we're getting it so much in Lucasfilm, because it's Disney Lucasfilm, and it's Kathleen Kennedy approved type of rhetoric. All right, so
she's obviously a staunch feminist. Do we know if she's a lesbian?
I don't think so. I think she's married.
Yeah, I was thinking so too.
I think so, but
she's just a power lesbian. I mean, a power feminist. Sorry,
power feminist, right? Wow.
There.
Okay, So I think it's enough? No, I think it's underlying. So I don't think most gamers are gonna really care or pick up on it, or they can skip over it. It's a part of the suspension of disbelief that you can get rid of. What breaks immersion? Well, first, the open lesbian talk about relationship intro. Like this would be like me walking up to somebody in public and go, "Hi, I'm Joel and I'm heterosexual
and I'm gay."
Right. And I'm Tom and I'm gay. And I'm like, well, hi, Tom, that's gay.
Right.
I mean, this doesn't make any sense.
I mean, in 2024, it's not so weird, but in 1930,
in the mid-30s,
it was unheard of.
No, it would have been a speakeasy, and it would have been quiet, and it would have been, and this is like.
Well, I don't know how things were here back then, but I know in England it was illegal. So, just saying.
All right. So, is there anything else that's, immersion problematic? And yes, there are. There's a camera in game that is pretty much a Kodak camera with an instant, reel that instantly produces photographs that Indy can look at. There's no developing. It's just a camera, take a snap, and then he can lay down immediately. No, there's no time. There's no shaking the thing. It's a Polaroid camera, but there's not in the 30s. So it's not there. And he also he doesn't have really a flash on the camera that's amazing either. And he's in like tombs and pits and complete darkness. I mean, it's like, man, this camera would not be this good. And if you are, a geek with cameras, or if you're any kind of photographer or you ever dealt with a photo camera before, it's screwy. But why did they add it? They said in an interview, it's for the cell phone generation that have cameras just on their phone so that they can immediately have some way to interact with the current generation. And then that is also an underlying thing. So if you don't mind, it's a little immersion breaking for a Gen X or older, but for the cell phone crowd, it was added for you. Just so you know. So
thank God they did it for them.
Right. Is there
it
something
really
else?
helped their sales.
Yeah. Right. Is there something else that might be a little bit immersion breaking for you? Well, she, like I said, she basically is just as skilled as he is, and she's a bit like Rey from Star Wars. She sees a plane, and I kid you not, this biplane is on a rooftop, and she sees it from across from another rooftop. And she looks at Indy, and he looks back at her, and then she looks at him, and she says, "I can fly that." Just immediately, she's got the skills to fly it, or there's no bring up. But all we know about her is she's a journalist who has a lesbian sister that she's looking for.
She's a power feminist, man. She can do anything.
Right. So there's a little bit of Mary Sue in there, but you can let that go. That's fine. All right. Then, as we're progressing through the story, it's and this is what bugs me is I don't mind telling you about the negative because the game is good, and this is why people are telling you, well, the game is fine. And if you're not a Gen Xer, or if you're not aware of historical things,
so pretty much you have to be a Gen X or older to be aware of anything historical.
Yeah, apparently, because that's
kids younger than us don't know anything about history.
Well, it seems like they're trying to erase everybody our gen and back. It's what rewrite history, take us for the ride. And they've been taking us for a ride for years now, but it just seems like it's affecting us the worst because they want to rewrite history in a fashion or way that, makes them better. Yeah.
Whitewash it.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Blackwash it.
Yeah. You name it these days.
Yeah.
However, is the game good? Yes, I'm not going to deny that the game is great. And what I should probably tell you about this is also, his name is Todd. I can't remember his last name. Well, God, come on, man. He's the guy who did the voice of Venom in the last Venom movie. And which I was going to tell you some things about that, but this is a 1-for-1 picture of him, and I can't remember his name. Todd from, let's try Venom. Was it Venom 3? Was that the name of it?
Yeah, I forget the name.
Okay, yeah, it's Tony Todd is the guy's name.
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at him. I thought he kind of looks like Tony Todd. Well, Tony Todd just passed away. It's very sad. I love Tony Todd very much.
Right, which I was going to tell you.
He's Kern from Star Trek, and Candyman obviously is what his most famous role is.
Right. Yeah, so he passed away as of this recording. It was, I think, 3 days ago or 2 days ago.
No, it's been longer than that.
You sure? Let me look.
It's been long. I mean, 3 days from today. Yeah, it's been way longer than that. It's been a week or more. I'm not exactly sure how long, but I heard about a week ago, I think.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, I wanted to tell you that his character is excellent. He did a great job.
Yes.
And
he's fantastic. Got a great voice too.
Yeah.
Fantastic voice.
Yep. So it's worth, what I'm saying is it's worth to see him in the scenes.
That in and of itself just gave it like a huge plus for me. So that's enough to sell it for me.
Right.
And I think you
bring it back to Dead here.
Yeah. Right.
And which was nice to see him again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And he doesn't look too bad. They did pretty good with him. It's the mouths that are not right.
Yeah. Yeah. The mouths are not right. Yep. I agree.
But I mean, it's good. I'm glad for the most part. It's a decent game. Look, you guys go try it out on Game Pass. It'll cost you hardly nothing. Play it for a month, get done with it, move on to the next game. That's what I say.
Right.
So, and speaking of this being Lucasfilm, by the way,
right.
Have you checked out any of the Skeleton Crew yet?
Yes. The wife and I are on episode 3, which was a couple days back. What do you think? What you've seen a couple of episodes?
I'm glad you asked. Yeah, I've only seen 2 episodes. I think that they come out on Wednesdays. Is that right, or Tuesdays?
I think
Wednesday.
I think it's Wednesday. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. But you
can
watch them after the fact.
Yeah, I have the episode, but I just haven't watched it yet. And so I'll say this.
Yeah,
I loved The Goonies.
Yeah,
I think you did too as a kid.
Yeah, my wife.
And I still love it. I mean, I still love to watch it.
One of my wife's favorite movies.
Yeah, and they're making another one, by the way, but that's beside the point.
Right.
It had a very Goonies in space feel to it. I like shows like Stranger Things. I'm not against a show that has kids in it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Overall, especially in the climate that I've been in with Star Wars lately, I didn't find it that bad.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find it overly enjoyable. It's not spectacular writing.
Right.
It's not terrible writing.
Right.
It's just basically, it's kind of like you would see in some of the cartoons like Lower Decks and stuff, that kind of middle of the road writing. And some of it actually could be really good depending on the episode. But Jude Law's great. So that brings something to it. I mean, that's a huge deal. Overall, I just felt like it was enjoyable. It wasn't, I had no big expectations, because especially knowing what we know about Disney, I didn't see really too much anything that triggered me too bad. It was kind of actually neat to see Star Wars universe type people just living their lives. I mean, like, this is very, I don't know how to describe it. Just, it's very normal, except for it's in Star Wars environment, Yep. It's just, the kids are at school, they're just going about the kid. There he is, he's just running down the road there and just living his life, but they just happen to be in Star Wars. And, I don't hate it, but I'm only 2 episodes in too. So I don't know if it's going anywhere good. I am intrigued, right, by the planet they're on, that the kids came from, and Adden. Yeah. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, is probably where the Emperor is or has been. It's got something to do with the Emperor, I think.
I'm not sure.
Down the road. But, anyway, yeah, I mean, like, I don't have anything really bad to say about it. I mean, it's not perfect. It's just something fun to sit down and watch. It's simple.
Yep. So let's, let me, are you done? Or you got more?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to break it down. Let's break it down to to the level that we just broke down Indy. So we're switching from video games to
wait.
Okay, go ahead.
I did think of something that did annoy me. I forgot.
All right.
You do. Just because it's Star Wars does not mean you have to insert scenes as homages from other Star Wars shows. Okay, I get it. It's Star Wars, and and it can't be for anybody but me, right? Because the kids don't know from it.
All right.
So don't. I don't need to see a scene that looks just like a speeder bike scene from Return of the Jedi.
Right.
That one stuck out, and there was one other one at the beginning that stuck out. But anyway, yes, go ahead. That was the only thing that annoyed me.
Yeah.
Fan service. Some fan service is great. It's unnecessary in this.
So I'm gonna holler at the wife as she's behind me here in the background, and I'm going to try to do this nicely because she was more, let's just say, emotionally tapped by these first 2 episodes than I was.
Oh, really? Okay.
Let's just call it. You know, do you see what we just saw in Indiana Jones? My theory about the insert Kathleen Kennedy. Okay, let's do that. Which character is Kathleen Kennedy? And as far as I can tell, so far, is one of the girls.
A little Asian girl, maybe.
No, she's the really smart one.
Well, she is really smart, so I'd say the lead girl then, yeah.
The lead girl is the feminist. I can do it. I can do anything. I'm the captain. You know, there's a lot of that. And I'm
like, you know why that doesn't bother me in this? Because she is a little girl.
Right.
And I don't feel like she's being a feminist because all she reminds me of is Hermione Granger, dude.
Right. A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Except Hermione had weaknesses and cried.
Yeah, but she could do anything, you know, pretty much that any boy could do, you know, if not better for the most part. But she's still a girl.
She could, but she wasn't the chosen one. So there's something she couldn't do.
Right.
All right. So the 2 boys, the little black boy is a complete idiot and has room temperature or less IQ.
Right.
And I mean, it's true. And the little elephant boy, the little blue elephant boy is he is bound by peer pressure, has a little bit more intelligence than the little black boy, but he's got peer pressure problems because he's bowing to whatever the little black boy, says.
Is he black? I thought he was like
pretty sure
something other. I want to say Indian or Asian or something. I mean, Indian is Asian, but
call it.
He looks Asian to me. Actually, he looks like he's from Australia.
It could be, yeah.
I don't know.
Well, in any case, he plays an idiot, so that's fine. All right,
okay.
The little Asian girl with the visor, she is the technical person, so obviously book smarts.
Yeah, she's Data from the Goonies.
Yeah, that's right. And then the little girl is the strong one, headstrong, and probably not. She's probably not big on intelligence per se, but more street smarts.
Right.
It could be something like that if you want to call it.
Yeah. I get it. Yep.
All right. So where are we going with this? Jude Law is white man bad. I mean, he throws an innocent person out an airlock in the very first episode, and then spoiling it here, and then ends up in jail. Okay. The first 2 episodes writing are very acolyte-like, and you may not realize it. It's an underlying tone. It looks like Lucas is just par for the course.
Right.
I've just laid out all these characters for you.
Yeah.
Going on, but there's a lot of we're going to here and we're going to here, and then they arrive and the girls are already there. That
right.
Thing. Or we need to do this, or okay, we're going to have to go get one of these. Okay, let's get one of these. Okay, they got one of those. I mean, I'm like, come on,
it's too mission oriented, like your game, like side quests and shit.
It's real easy to spot. So the first 2 episodes, I'm going to say literally, no, that's not fair. I don't know how to say it. The way that, I don't know, the writers, I would say it's a fail for the writers. They are falling into tropes that they shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
It's tiresome. It's old. It's already, you're bordering on offensive, and you don't even realize you're doing it.
Right.
But I get it. by the time we get to episode 3, episode 3,
which I haven't seen.
Yeah, the dialogue gets a little better.
That's a plus.
Yeah, the action scenes get a little better.
Okay.
There is some stupid stuff still happening that doesn't really happen for reasons, and they explain the stupid stuff reasons, and I'm not going to spoil it, but basically I'm like, really? Did you have to go there and you have to do that? But episode 3 is a much better episode than episode 1 and 2. It's just
good.
It's outstanding compared to 1 and 2. The writing is better. It's as if somebody said, I can't believe we just put out 1 and 2 and you did this. And episode 3 is worth it.
Well, in all fairness too, man, and this is true for, I would say, majority of shows. There's only a few that come out of the gate smoking hot because unfortunately you have to set up your story with the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that setup can get real tedious but it is necessary. And usually you're thankful for it later, but really, really good writers can insert that stuff in such a way that you look up and you're like, damn, has it been an hour already? I mean, what the hell? That was too good.
Right.
It's like, I know everything about this world and I'm already know like in the direction of this, where this season might be going. And, but those are few and far between. Those are like the Andors of the world. And, well, anyway, for Star Wars, it's Andor.
It's Andor. Yeah. Which is,
and Mandalorian too did it.
Right.
Very well.
Right. Oh, but and I almost left it out. So apparently it's just a trope for apparently it is. It's a trope for Lucasfilm now. We should just expect it. Just expect it. But episode 3 has sure they do. They have lesbian mothers for one of the kids. So I was like, all right, sure. I'm just at this point, I'm just gonna you're checking the boxes. All right, just check. And the reason I say it's a little black boy is because his dad is definitely a black guy.
True. You're right. I did not even. Yeah. We just don't know what his mom was like. So
yeah, we have no. She could be mixed or Creole.
Yeah. Well, if it's Disney,
it.
There's definitely mixture in there, no doubt. There's no way that man married another black woman. Disney won't allow it.
Yeah, by Disney
diversity,
rules,
buddy. You got to have the diversity.
Yeah, it's a lot. But does it start hitting check boxes by this episode 3? Yes, it does. It's if you've got to be aware of it going into it. That if your child is watching the show and they say, well, why does that kid have 2 mommies? You be prepared to answer that question. This is the thing.
If they would just go away for like a year or 2 and stop doing this and then just insert the characters like they used to back in the day,
right,
real subtly and just kind of made it part of the thing, but they brought them in. They just didn't hit you over the head with it. Then we would accept it like we did back in the day. We're just sick of it being shoved down our throats and being so obvious. And it would be great if you were also, literary geniuses, but you're not.
Right.
And you keep doing this same stuff. It's not impressive. It's just tiresome.
Right. I mean, there's a big difference between an underlying tone, which I told you about in Indiana Jones, and you walk up to me, and the other end of the spectrum is you walk up to me and introduce me by your genitals.
Hi, I'm Tom, the homosexual.
Yeah, and these are my genitals. And I'm like, I don't need to know all this about you. It's fine. But they're not going to clue in, so they're going to keep tanking stuff. But episode 3 is better than episode 1 and 2.
Well, so that's cool. I mean, maybe it'll turn out to be, pretty good overall. Like I said, just sit down and just want to, kind of just watch a show and not have to think too much.
Yeah.
It's that show for me.
Right.
It's and it's kind of fun. It's a little fun.
Right.
Like I said, the Stranger Things type thing, the old days with like Stand By Me. I just like that kind of thing. The group, the kids, it just had a feel to it.
Right.
Like they're going to get into some mischief. They might solve a mystery or something like that. Right. It's just, I guess it's something from the childhood. It's tickling, more than likely.
And there's one defensible thing about this that I want people to know. And I should really just take this back to a good example, which we just talked about. Indiana Jones. It's one of those things you'd be like, I wish you would have mentioned that. I'm trying to get it out in a good order here, but Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. The first 2 movies, the big hits. Raiders was a huge hit in our day. So Gen X big hits, those first 2 movies. That first movie, Marion was in it, and Marion was literally a tough girl.
Yep.
And I wouldn't call her a feminist per se, but I would say she was very tough.
Very tough. She knocked the shit out of somebody.
Right. Outdrank somebody in one of the scenes. Right. And then in another scene, you'll see.
Great point, by the way.
Right. You'll see Marion be a damsel in distress. And it's a famous scene. This is the one where Indy's got the guy, with the 2 scimitars in the middle of the Cairo Bazaar.
And she's in the basket.
And she's in the basket, and they're playing 3-card, whatever, cups and balls, whatever you call it. They're playing,
3-card money.
Right. So, but she's a helpless damsel in distress. So Dudley Do-Right, the heroine's on the tracks. She's tied up. The train is coming.
Yep.
So that is old school Indiana Jones. That is not what we get with the newer Indiana Jones movies. But you get it in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, did they do it again in Temple of Doom? You bet they did. They were going to pull her heart out like crazy back in India.
Oh, yeah.
Molaram, Sudaram, doom, doom. They would have pumped her, and he would have held his hand up. And okay, so you get my idea. Old school Indiana Jones, although they touch on it, it is there, and it's nice to see some of the nostalgia. You got to overlook some of this new agenda that's politically driven, modern day politics. And it keeps getting inserted over and over and over. Do we really want to see this kind of thing? Well, they think we do. So, we're going to,
Well, they think half the country or half the world, I guess, does, but.
Right. Yeah, but this is our content and where it's getting modified. I'm telling you about what's getting modified, that kind of thing.
Once they take the politics out of it, we can all get back to business as usual. I hope there is an end to this. Certainly there is an end to DEI, because that's already happening. But if and when Disney and Lucasfilm, embrace that or not, will remain to be seen.
Oh, I think they'll be one of the last people that jump the wagon.
And there's always one other, too, we have to worry about, and that's the state of the Star Trek universe and what they're up to, because they're teetering on the edge of disaster, too, with their DEI stuff as well. And have you seen the Section 31 trailer?
Okay, so I've heard about it, and I know it's chock full of ESG and DEI. I know it is.
Yeah.
I have not seen it, so this will be my first time, seeing it with you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, just as a viewer, just so you know, Paramount is damn near bankrupt. That went to Skydance. Skydance has taken over at Paramount, and a lot of what you see is the choices Paramount has made in the past 10 to 15 years. Skydance is ruling on most of this. I really hope it doesn't affect Star Trek history because we like Star Trek, and we'd like it to be open and such. And if they really want to know, they should if they really want to know what content is good, and if they want to insert DEI and ESG, they should really go back and look at some of Star Trek Next Generation's episodes. Absolutely. Their DEI and ESG is there. It is an underlying tone. It's not done well. It's not prominent in your face, and it's not shoving a politic down your throat.
That's right.
However, I think what we're about to see with Star Trek Section 31, although we're about to watch the trailer now, I think what we're about to get is just a political nightmare that probably helped end Paramount by itself, where it had to get taken over. So this is one of those.
I would agree.
This probably tanked the studio a bit doing this, but I wouldn't call it solely responsible. But it's a project of,
And it was one of those that couldn't. It was one of those that couldn't figure out what it wanted to be either. Just like the Obi-Wan stuff. Is it a movie? Is it a series? Is it a movie?
I was going to tell you the same thing. So you're ahead of me. All right, this one I'm going to pause. We're going to take it back. I'm going to bring the audio up a little bit, like we.
I hate the space station.
Yeah. Here we go.
There's a customer hoping for a word with you. Bring him.
My last lesbian.
What are you doing in my space station?
I'm giving you a chance to get back in on the action on a galactic scale.
That dude looked familiar.
What a cute idea. The only way this works is if I know exactly what I'm dealing with.
We're facing a threat unlike anything Starfleet's ever seen.
Billions of lives are at stake.
I'm not even remembering what year this takes place in.
One of them.
I'm not sure either.
31 is a Black Ops division. Spy work.
It's just a place for people to.
Because I don't remember where
Starfleet
she
is
got
here to make sure
dropped
no one
off
commits
at.
murder.
Whatever you believed your mission was, is worse than you thought.
How do we stop it?
We work together and don't get dead. I'll try my hardest.
Is that the black dude from Hell on Wheels?
Could have been.
You don't answer her questions directly. She will
Maybe he got through Anson Mounts. Kind of looks like him, but I'm not sure if it's him or not.
be doing the face punching.
I lied.
You have no idea what you've started.
This is gonna be bad.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That was the first time it felt like Star Trek, just when I heard that torpedo.
Yep.
And then that right there, seeing the Star Trek logo.
Right.
Other than that, it just doesn't even feel like Star Trek to me.
No, it's not really. And that's, I think, the biggest complaint so far is that this doesn't feel like Star Trek at all. It's worse than DS9's initial. I mean, people didn't like DS9 in the beginning because
yes, and I was one of them, and now I'm one of the ones that will go back and tell you that seasons 1, 2, and 3 are some of the best Deep Space Nine there was. But yeah, I was back there in the day, just like everyone else, pissed because it was nothing like Next Generation.
Right.
But it became, I mean, dude, it is sweet. I mean, like, it is, once we realized what it was and what it was about, I mean, it was just phenomenal.
Right. Right. Well, they left the comments on this trailer.
No
Dangerous.
boy. Wow.
Dangerous. I know.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
They had currently they have 2,700 upvotes and they've got 12,000 downvotes. It's premieres January 24th.
Day after my birthday.
2025. And the top comment is like, is there anybody left at Paramount that's ever seen an episode of Star Trek?
Amen.
And can you believe that? That's the top comment. So I was like,
it should be the top comment.
Right. I was like, wow. You know, this is severely risky for them, but risque, let's call it that. But let's go the French route.
Yeah.
Because they're so Ubisoft, you know, in my mind. This is a French
Ubisoft.
They're having a hell of a year. Yeah, I think the show, I don't know that it's going to have legs because it is chock full of DEI and ESG. And
yeah,
that's really bad, but it's called Section 31. It's got a rating. Look at that, PG-13. So that you know what they let us see for PG. Imagine what they're going to let us see for PG-13. There must be something pretty heavy going on. I guess.
I just don't care about this at all, man.
I don't
know if anybody was looking for this. It might have done good as a show with not like this, not like we're seeing. But if it was a show and done a different way, maybe it would have been cool. If they had the dude, the white-haired dude, you know, involved somehow to kind of kick things off, or the dude from the original Section 31 guy, can't think of his name.
The time traveler is what you're talking about. Yes, I know who you're talking about. It's okay.
No. I'm not the Enterprise time traveler. The original Section 31 guy was on Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine. You're talking about the guy from
Sanderson.
William Sanderson from Die Hard. Yeah.
William Sanderson. And if you had him in some way connected to it, now I would be really down for something like that, you know.
Right.
In fact, I'm not even sure if the white-haired guy on Discovery, if that's not the same character. No, he died, didn't he? William Sanderson. Yeah, that's right. They did kill him off. Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, don't go and watch this shit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The guy from the white-haired guy from Discovery is
Cronenberg.
He is, but he is in the lore. He is the guy that we saw in Enterprise. He's that same guy.
That's right. Yeah, you are right.
Is the time
that's
traveler.
Daniels. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yep.
So
Good old Daniels.
Am I going to watch this? Yes, but can I tell you to watch this? I can pretty much clearly tell you, like everybody else is telling you, probably you shouldn't be anywhere near this TV show.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be.
It's going to be a disappointment.
Well, it's going to be.
If they'd have taken the Star Trek name off of it, it might have fared a little better.
Well, you were saying about the timeline. I believe this is in Discovery's timeline.
That's what I was thinking too.
It's going to be not at the time of Daniels. This will be at the time before she jumped. I think.
Oh, you're saying this is prequel?
There you go. Yeah, I think this is like before she.
Because I thought that they sent her back.
Not.
Didn't they send her back?
I thought so too. But I watched it. I remember watching.
Yeah, I watched it too. But my memory's not that good, and I didn't care for the show that much. So
right.
But yeah, I thought they sent her back to her timeline or something like that.
But
in the mirror universe,
right? As far as political alignment with TV shows and movies is concerned, this one is gonna miss the mark, whether it's good or bad. I mean, I'm not pronouncing the show is horrible. It could be great. The show could be great, but I can tell you from the premise and the preview, much like everybody else, everybody's tired of it and they don't want it. So you're doing something that wasn't asked for and what you didn't need to do it. You were already on the ropes with what you had before it. So please be careful and tiptoe through the tulips.
There you go, man.
You are dipping into the politics that we don't want.
For sure.
In the wrong way. You're welcome to tiptoe in some politics as long as you do it the right way.
Yeah, and there's a very wrong way to do it. And that's the way that somebody like Robert Picardo or something like that would do it. Or
you got George Takei is political. Robert Picardo is political. And I wholeheartedly believe they shouldn't be. It's hurting. You know, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, you should stay out of it. I mean, honestly, you're just here to entertain us.
Right. And then I mean, I don't know if you want me to mention it because it's a cuss word there, but
you can mention it about Anson.
Yeah. Anson Mount recently went off on a fan, which was doing some of the same rhetoric and reflecting, you know, this is your audience. This is who you're talking to. And then these are the people that represent Star Trek right now. This is not the way to represent Star Trek. So if anybody hears me and can tell him that, this is not the way to represent Star Trek. So this is messed up. Yeah, this is a tweet from Kyle Hunter, and it says memo to Hollywood. And you see, this is just a normal.
It's not even to anybody specific.
No, and it says memo to Hollywood: stop alienating half your audience. And then you've got Anson Mount here with the F off. And this was recently. This was November 15th of this year. And I don't think that this is his finest moment, but this is an embarrassing thing. And for his season is about to start. Of a show that I like, and
I like it all right too, even though it's got some DEI and it's heavily, Yeah,
I expect some of it to be there, but out of all the Star Trek shows that are there,
it's the best.
It is currently the best one to watch.
Yep.
I feel that if he wants to get heavily political, like George Takei or like Robert Picardo, maybe wait until you're no longer representing the Star Trek universe and the Paramount Corporation and now Skydance when you open your mouth on Twitter, because this affects not just you, sir. This affects everybody that works with you, the people that fund you, the people that give you a paycheck that lets you eat and put your pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us.
Very selfish thing to do.
Right. This person, Kyle Hunter, did not say anything to Anson Mount that was in that sentence right there. Memo to Hollywood: stop alienating half your audience.
Doesn't even call him out.
No, it doesn't call him out, and it's not offensive per se in any way. It's more of the same mirrored rhetoric that you're going to hear all across the board. It's not something that we're against, and we're trying to tell you. That we're fighting for you. We want you to get it right, and we don't mind it being there, but, we want to give you a chance. If you haven't heard Sean say that before, we would like to give you a chance, but you cannot, immediately preempt strike somebody who didn't even say anything offensive to you per se, and did not call out Star Trek in general. did not say it.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, nothing specific other than Hollywood. So.
Right. So as a classic lesson learned from every actor who has an illustrious long career, please stop the dinner table talk. You've heard me say that before. Stay away from sex, politics, and religion in your posts. Yep. Don't deal with that, because if you do have a young mind that you're molding by watching your TV show, this is one of the last things you want to see them see that you say online. It's just, to me, this is not a good thing. This is not a good look. And
no, I really liked him since Hell on Wheels, man. And I was happy to see him come to Star Trek. And I am just thoroughly disappointed in this, man.
Right.
Lost a lot of respect for him, for sure.
But I don't have anything else. That's all I got, man. That's kind of like an update for this week.
Awesome. Yep.
Look, there's a ton of stuff we could talk about in the future. The Game Awards was this week. We should probably say that. And I don't know if I'll be here next week, and I'd like to be, but if I can, I will, and we'll talk about it some more. But I can tell you here's some quick bits. You should watch the Game Awards trailers. There are some that are, I mean, you'll see it. There's some that are just.
There's one good one I know of that I won't say.
That they're amazing. I can, spoiler alert here. The Game Awards, PlayStation 5 game won Game of the Year that was made by Sony. And it's a little robot game, and I forgot the name of the game, but I don't have a PS5, so I didn't get to play Astrobot.
Astrobot. Yep.
I believe it. He won Game of the Year.
Yeah,
I kind of think that was, it's a bad idea, a bad thing. And because it's specifically for PS5. It's not specifically for the entire gaming industry.
Yeah.
It doesn't cover Xbox, PC. You get it.
Right.
All right. Well, Elden Ring's DLC also was nominated. That's DLC. It's not an actual game. Right. So there was controversy there. And then, it didn't, it's just, there's some weird things that happened at the Game Awards. But they showed a lot of trailers of upcoming video games that are absolutely have a chance. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Look amazing in the trailers. Doesn't mean the game's amazing. We'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah, this week is really been full of Path of Exile 2 that's really dominating the industry right now. It's in its season 0 is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
But it is
doing really well.
Yeah, it has started with over 500,000 people just on Steam alone. So that's not counting their launcher, and it's not counting the console's launcher. So there's even more people. They expected 900,000 to 1 million people.
Blizzard's hurting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's nobody playing D4 anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
They've moved immediately to
Elon Musk is the only one playing D4 right now.
No. Elon immediately got with Rob, one of the streamers on Twitch, and started talking to people about which class you should play and blah blah blah.
Wow, really?
Elon is playing Path of Exile 2 with the rest of us.
Nice.
So yeah, he's gone too. It's a literal jump ship of everything and head over there. But
that's the way to do it.
This is nobody's fault.
Message.
This is nobody's fault but Blizzard's. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Send a message to Blizzard.
Blizzard, is going to learn a nice lesson here. But whether they want to or not.
We hope so. We hope they learn a lesson.
Yeah, they may not. You're right. Yeah, they may not. Look at Disney. Look at Star Trek.
Yeah.
Look at Paramount. Yeah, there is a message here. You gotta take it easy.
Yeah, that's it, guys.
Anyway,
thanks, man.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great stuff. And guys, we thank you for joining us again. And if you made it this far, please click the like button, give us a subscribe. Make sure you stay with us because we like having you here with us, and we like talking about stuff like this, don't we, Joe? This is where it's at for us, man. And we're nerds, and we love talking about nerd stuff. So, guys, remember, as always, be excellent to each other. And Joel and I will see you on the flip side.
Have a good one, everybody.
Yeah. Peace out, everybody. See ya.